Peru is where I first saw poverty. It's a place I always knew I would come back to. My name is Tamil Campos. I've always been a snowboarder. I've been coming down to South America since I was a little kid. It holds a special feeling for me. The people, the culture, and a way of life so different than our own. When I was 12 years old, my parents decided to take me down for a year backpacking across Peru, Chile, Bolivia, and Ecuador. On the final days of that trip, we decided to celebrate by going snowboarding in the Andes. I was hooked. Snowboarding kept me coming back, the Andean winter calling me down every summer. I worked in a snowboard shop since I was 13, allowing me to enjoy the endless winter. I haven't had a summer in 12 years. That's how it all started. This trip is different though. Snowboarding isn't the main focus. The crew is still going to make it to the Andean winter, but on the way, we'll be taking a different course, deep in the Peruvian Amazon, to spend time working alongside the people of one of the world's most impoverished communities. A 4-day boat ride down one of the most mystical rivers in the world will take me away from all that I've known as a Canadian, as a traveler, and as a snowboarder. It'll take me to Belen.
Temo and I have known each other for a couple of years now. We know each other through snowboarding. We've been riding together at the local mountains and in the backcountry around here for years, doing road trips and having fun. This project was really attractive to me because it was completely new. Something I've never done before, never experienced. Something that I've thought about a lot though. It's something that I've been interested in doing this sort of project for a long time, and it's a way for me to do it as a snowboarder. Traveling's always been a vacation for me. So I've never traveled and really like put myself in the shoes of the people that I'm around. I've never gotten a real local experience or like contributed in any way to the communities that I've visited. I'm expecting it to be new and different, but I have no idea what the day-to-day is going to be like. I'm ready to be blown away, really.
There's a different feel here than the rest of Latin America, enclosed in its own little world. The city blew up during the automobile expansion in the early 1900s. It was this rubber boom that gave the city its cultural and urban identity. Yet as most boom cities go, when the industry dies, inequality and poverty take its place. As the money from the rubber boom ebbed, families were forced to the outskirts of the city to makeshift accommodations on the garbage outflow of Iquitos. Belen is now one of the biggest slums in South America. It's hard to stomach the severity of this place. Open pit sewage lays stagnant, adjacent to every house. Everything you ever valued about sanitation is thrown out the window. All this is made worse by the reality that Belen floods every single year throughout the Amazon's rainy season, with each year being worse than the last due to melting glaciers in the Andes, a direct result of climate change. It isn't hard to imagine what happens to the open pit sewage during flood season. Clean drinking water is a distant dream for Belen. I'm going to meet with two community leaders, Juan and Miguel. They're going to explain what the experience during and after the floods was like.
Bueno, esta creciente de este año que vino ha sido una creciente más grande que ningún año que vino. La dificultad de ser acá, que mayormente que a la gente, toda la ribera de acá, de la zona baja de Belen, nos ha perjudicado en una condición que nos tapó primeramente el piso de la casa, nos hizo subir hasta el terrado, donde que acá vemos ya casi topando el agua a nivel del techo de la casa. Ya era una creciente más grande, hasta ahora se había perjudicado así en esa condición, y mucho también nos ha perjudicado porque ya los vecinos no podían ir a pasar al mercado. Pero también hay niños a veces acá, también hay diferentes formas que a veces no pueden estudiar por el motivo de no hay alimentaciones, ¿ya? Bueno, hay niños que se van al colegio a veces sin desayunos, no hay a veces para el almuerzo.
Aquí las dificultades en tiempos de inundación, una parte por 3 temporadas, algunos vecinos lo habían pasado en el local, la inundación, a los que alcanzábamos, claro, ¿no? Pero en esta última temporada, esta inundación ha sido muy grande. Y cuando están inundados, ¿no? Tú sabes que están propensos a las enfermedades, como por ejemplo las infecciones respiratorias, diarreicas y muchas enfermedades, ¿no? Más que todo el dengue, la malaria.
Selene helped out every day on the raft, and it was good to have someone our own age to relate to and share experiences with. Here she shows me just how high the floods got this year.
Lo malo es que hay mucha violencia, mucho robo, drogadicción, y pues como todas las personas aquí ven que hay muchas personas que roban, como nosotros decimos aquí, y como que tenemos una hora de límite para salir y entrar a Belen. Si sales temprano tienes que como que entrar a las 11 o 10 de la noche. Después ya no se puede porque es muy peligroso para nosotros. Eso es lo malo que nosotros vivimos aquí. Ha pasado la inundación, ha sido muy terrible para nosotros porque ha sido un sufrimiento muy grande. Todas las casas, como que las casas hechas de madera que son altas, como que subió hasta el techo. Entonces había muchas personas que no tenían dónde ir. Por ejemplo, mi mamá estuvo aquí todo el tiempo porque no había un lugar muy cerca en donde puedan retirarse. Y pues se quedaron aquí sufriendo por varios meses y no había apoyo de nada. Pero sí las dificultades son que a veces los niños que no saben nadar caen al agua y a veces se ahogan. Entonces es el problema que nosotros tenemos, es lo principal que puede pasar en una casa. Los niños a veces no van al colegio porque no tienen dinero o no tienen un uniforme y un cuaderno. Entonces esa es la necesidad nosotros que tenemos y para mí sería maravilloso ver y tener todo eso.
After lining it up back home, we finally got to meet La Restinga, the local nonprofit group, working together to solve the problems in Belen.
El futuro no existe. Pasado mañana es lejos. Entonces a un chico en esas condiciones, acabar la escuela, que le faltan 5 o 6 años, es eterno, ¿no? Entonces, soy Luis González Polar. Empecé la Restinga con Mita Lamorán, con Cristian Bendayán, con Rafael Díaz y con Marisa Rachomic. Éramos 5 y empezó siendo un trabajo con chicos que trabajaban en la calle. O sea, la balsa es un lugar de experimentación, es un lugar en el que el niño y el adolescente aprende cómo hacerlo. La idea es tratar de que en las casas haya huertos, ¿no?, que puedan ayudar a mejorar la nutrición de las familias, pero que la balsa sea el espacio donde se aprende, ¿no? O sea, cómo se siembra, qué se siembra, cuánto tiempo tiene que estar, ¿no? Y luego, si las familias ven conveniente hacer una pequeña balsa o hacer un espacio en su casa o hacer un jardín colgante con verduras y con plantas para la alimentación, lo podría hacer, ¿no? Esa es la función de la balsa.
We've raised enough money for La Restinga's Garden Raft project. Initially, the Spanish government funded the project, but after the recession, funds were cut. A previous raft project was a success, but unfortunately, with the limited funds they had, they couldn't afford good wood or varnish, and the raft was rotten after only 2 years. We're excited to contribute to this project, and this time, we're buying quality wood with natural oils to resist the rot.
El tema de la balsa es que es una escuela para aprender a sembrar en tu espacio, ¿no? Entonces la idea es, los chicos han aprendido hasta hacer la balsa. Entonces la balsa cuesta, pero en Belén tú podrías hacer una balsa chiquita con topas que recoges del agua también.
We hunt for more wood to complete the rafts, and I stumble upon a lumberyard. I've been told that the three biggest industries in Belen were drugs, illegally cut lumber from the rainforest, and petroleum. It's hard to stomach that the only sources of decent employment in this town all come from sources that won't be around forever, and at the expense of our environment. Though discouraged by the problems that face Belen, we press on. We ask questions. We get to know our hosts. And as our relationship with La Restinga develops, we are invited to see one of their other projects. It's a plan to create sustainable community-based employment in one of the villages of the Nanay River, one of the Amazon's largest tributaries. We reach the village by boat, leaving the busy streets of Iquitos and the shocking sights of Belen behind us as we travel into the rainforest. The staff at La Restinga have established relationships with several communities, like this one, and is helping them to develop a hive system for producing honey from stingless bees. Thinking back on the lumberyard, there seems to be a common trend of people around the world being trapped in lifestyles that are forcing environmental destruction. Seeing this alternative up the river has me thinking about working alongside the natural world, rather than exploiting it for a lifestyle that is so far from sustainable. And seeing how La Restinga is reaching out to so many communities, showing them new techniques for sustainable living, and empowering people with new and creative means for supporting themselves. It gives me faith in development work. It shows me that projects like our garden raft can work.
Bueno, en el proyecto de la abeja estamos buscando de poder producir miel amazónica, miel de acá, de la selva. El objetivo del proyecto es primero conservar este tipo de abejas, de que no desaparezcan, y reutilizar lo que o cambiar el modo que tienen ellos de utilizarla, porque normalmente se tumba el árbol donde está el nido y destruyen la colmena, destruyen toda la población. Entonces con esta forma lo que hacemos es mantener la población viva y produciéndonos para el interés del poblador, porque él es después el que puede ir recolectando el producto mes tras mes, enseñarle a vender el producto con la calidad. Y con nosotros con la producción de miel lo que es incluimos una actividad más, ¿sabes? Que para que tengan ingresos dentro de la comunidad. Ellos tienen ingresos a partir de su agricultura, a partir de su pesca, a partir de la saca de ciertas plantas, ¿no? Y esto es un ingreso más, porque en las comunidades ribereñas.
We return to Belen. A community event called a Minga is going down. During a Minga, the people of Belen come together to build community resources. We are using the funds for the second raft for this community center. There is even a plan to make it into the district's first library. I remember hearing about the tendency to look after yourself and your own family in extreme poverty, to the point where you will steal from your neighbors. This Minga was a way to ease that tension and allowed an opportunity for them to come together.
Come away with me in the morning. Know the road is long, yeah. Come away with me
This is Amy. She's 12 years old and she works with us on the rafts every day. She's one of the kids that La Restinga helps out with after-school tutoring and support for her education. Working with Amy, I see so much potential. Every day she asks me to translate new words. Today she learned how to ask me where I'm from in English. And we talked about my hometown and about what it was like for me to grow up. When I was her age and even into my early 20s, there was never any doubt that I'd be in school every September. But in Belen, where so many families need their kids to stay at home to help, going to school isn't a given. Amy wants to know how to talk about her world with people from outside of it, how to ask them questions and tell them about her family. And seeing how eager she is to learn and how eager all the kids here are to learn gives me hope for the future of Belen. And the conversations that have started with just these kids being curious really opened my eyes to the humanity of this place.
Quiet now. You're putting all your faith in me too. And darling, when you get so tired, yeah, I'm gonna raise this child with you. Oh, I will raise this child with you. I'm gonna raise this child with you through every moonless night. Raise this child with you. Yeah, yeah.
The raft's final beams are put in, and it's hard not to notice how much my entire perspective has changed. Unlike when we first got here, I can now envision the possibilities for what Belen can become, and what this community can accomplish when they come together. The garden space created by the rafts is just a small part of the solution. I know rafts and community centers can't solve every problem facing Belen. It's the people working together that truly tackle the issues that cannot be ignored. I realize that La Restinga is giving them tools that allow this community to come together and break the cycle of poverty. I'm on to my last days here, and for the first time in my life, I'm not rushing to get to winter. Santiago, Chile. We're heading to the mountains with a bunch of friends I've been riding with for years. But first, I'm gonna see my friend Diego. We've been riding buds since we were young, and I'm finding out that our lives are taking similar paths to being snowboarders while contributing to our communities. He works with a group called Intecho, and I can't help but go check it out with him. They are a youth-run organization that connects urban students with housing projects in the poorest rural areas of Chile.
Mira, el techo partió el año 97 acá en Chile, o sea, ya llevamos aproximadamente 15 años trabajando en los asentamientos más precarios del país a lo largo de todo Chile.
El techo es una institución que nace en Chile y que se ha ido replicando en el resto de los países del continente, que comparten una característica que es muy importante, y esa característica es que son países muy desiguales, donde hay una pequeña proporción de la población que concentra mucha riqueza y hay una gran mayoría que vive con muy pocos recursos. Entonces, frente a esa desigualdad, y existe ahí como un proyecto de un grupo de jóvenes que se da cuenta que la sociedad civil puede hacer cosas importantes, hacer transformaciones grandes en la sociedad y que no debemos dejar todo simplemente en manos del Estado.
It's pretty incredible to see people our age having so much success addressing such a huge issue.
Places we go, I'll never know.
Ese sería como mi mensaje más profundo que yo he podido adquirir acá en el techo y que y que si no conocemos a los más pobres de nuestros países es imposible que podamos generar políticas y soluciones efectivas para las mismas personas con las que trabajamos.
In order to access the backcountry, we took time to make splitboards for the crew. It's always good saving money on lift tickets. Hard to believe that the flight home is in a couple days. This was so far from an ordinary snowboard trip to South America. I see the world in a different light. Touring in the mountains has a way of putting life in perspective. They've stood here for thousands of years, and I'm reminded of how short a time we have on Earth. It's as if the mountains are challenging us to see what we're gonna do. After spending time in Belen, I've come to realize just how influential we can be. Belen, the people, and the possibilities for them are in my thoughts. I realize this trip has changed everything.
I thought the suits had come from me. Found alternatives to honesty. Body and soul were bought and sold, patented and out of reach. So I reach, but it hurts, it kills, it screams, and it fills my heart with chills. And I take my pills, but I'm still tired of sleeping with the light on. If it keeps the hair out of my eyes, pack it up and send it home for just one stab at the good life. That's enough, and I'm so I gave up all my wretched thoughts and left them out for the less fortunate. Now at the gate I'll skip the queue. Life's not living unless you're sure to make it through. But now it hurts, it kills, it screams.